obviously, second out of the back-to-back, it's a tough one against the difficult team of the East, and a guy that's top 5 scorer in the league right now. What do you want to see out of your guys as it pertains to the keys to this matchup?
I mean, obviously, you got to do your best to slow DeMar down. Now that goes, easier said than done. The spots that he's at on the floor and these shots that he's taking, are really shots that you want the offense to take. He's just elite at it, so it makes it a little bit more of an adjustment for your defense. But we just have to make them difficult and see if we can do, the job to make him have to take more shots and then keep him off the free throw line as well. And then, offensively, we've got to find a spark. We've got to create more movement, find more open shots for one another, make them feel like they're chasing us a little bit.
And just curious, this is a team that shoots the least amount of threes in the league, but they also shoot them at the second highest clip. So when it comes to your perimeter defense, how do you think about it?
You want to just make the ones that they do shoot contested. A lot of the ones that they get, and the reason why they shoot a high percentage is because their playmakers create open shots for one another. And, when they are open with that pressure that they're putting on your paint, obviously we know the percentages go up. So we just want to make sure that we make them all contested.
JB, is Lowry available tonight?
We'll see.
Okay. Did it happen the game last night? Did something happen?
Yeah, he aggravated it last night during the game.
And then with Evan obviously playing at center these last couple of games, what have you seen from him and just the way that he's adjusting to the areas we talked about the other day, just in that role, I guess?
I think he's doing a great job. To be honest with you, I think he's picking up. You see the rebounding, patrolling the paint, doing all those things. Offensively, taking advantage of his opportunities, his roles, his relocations, and then creating when the ball's in his hands. So I think he's doing a really good job, and he looks really comfortable.
Chris Fior, Cleveland. JB, do you view Evan as a 4 or a 5?
I think he's a basketball player. Excuse me. Yeah, I know. I'll punt those questions quick. No, but honestly, I think there's a generation of positionless talent, right? I think we see that more on the perimeter with smaller, 6'6" to 6'8" guys. And you see teams trying to fill their roster with those types of guys. I just think that Evan happens to be that positionless player at 7 feet tall. I think as his career goes on, you'll be able to see him used against different matchups in different ways. But I think we're finding that, it's fun. We were actually talking about it. When you were drawing up plays, you used to use 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. We don't do that anymore because of these guys' versatility and where we can, just put them wherever we need to on the floor. So I think Evan is that. He just happens to be 7 feet tall.
And then there was a lot of conversation after last night's game about you guys doing too much ISO, becoming stagnant. What is the balance when you have somebody like Darius who can attack mismatches, and he's been great this year against switching defenses?
I think a lot of it has to do with what your opponent is going to do also and where the switches come. Miami is a really good defensive team, and they have, really good defensive big guys who can switch and keep smaller guys in front of them. So now it's a matter of how you attack that. And for us, the job that Darius has to do, he can't do it alone. And that's where I think we fell into the trap a little bit last night is, we became a mismatch basketball team, and it was just on Darius to go beat his man and create for everybody. And we can't survive that way. That's just not who we are. In those moments, it has to be more a two-sided offense with more cuts and more splits and more movement to create advantages as well, because you can't ask one guy to carry that burden against a team like Miami for 48 minutes.
JB, good to see you.
Good to see you too.
I have a question. I told up today, you've had 26 players on the roster. And like all teams, they've gone through COVID and injuries, but you've done a remarkable job. How have you stayed the course with this? And have you jumped, so to speak, when you were putting this program together? Have you jumped? Are you 1 year, too soon for this? Or how did this all come about?
I mean, I think the consistency in our approach and the style that we tried to implement early on in the season. You know, our message to our team was, if we want to have any level of success, every night we have to be the best team on the floor. You know, that's not to say we're going to have more individual talent than our opponents, but we had to do all the things that constitute team at a higher level than our opponent every single night. And I think our guys bought into that. And when you play that way, you know, obviously you miss the guys that are injured, but you give yourself a better chance because you can kind of plug and play guys into their positions and into their spots when other guys are out. You know, if you're so highly dependent on one guy or an individual or an ISO game, you know, you're going to have a hard time when that guy goes out. But we tried to build, you know, our system on both ends of the ball on the total and less on the individual. So I think that's been helpful for us. But our guys have really bought into it. You know, they bought into the team. They bought into each other. You know, even when they're in or out, they support one another the same. Like there's no, you know, griping or complaining about minutes or touches or, you know, this guy's doing this. Like all our guys try to do is figure it out. And I think that's why, you know, we've been able to get through, you know, some of the ups and downs that we've had this year with injuries and COVID and that type of stuff. And as far as like where we are, you know, we just wanted to do what was right in front of us and put our guys in position to be as successful as they can be. You know, we didn't have, you know, lofty expectations or, you know, we're going to settle for anything. We had support from our front office to be as good as we possibly could be. So that was our goal coming into the season and just trying to reach our potential and exceed that if possible.
Marla right now, Akron Beacon Journal. Yeah, JB, just when I don't know if you see it more now with Evan at the 5, but his passing ability seems like, you know, it's growing by the day. And even when the rare chance when he's bringing the ball up, just how impressive has that been?
I mean, I think it's one of the things that, you know, we've seen and known from Evan is at his size, he's an elite passer. You know, there was a play, you know, back in September where, you know, we were at home at the facility and he gets a defensive rebound. He pushes it up the floor and a guy goes back door and he throws a one-hand, no look bounce pass to him. You know, these are the things that we saw early on and knew what he was capable of. You know, at that 5 spot when the ball's in his hands more, you know, I think you got two sides of the floor that are working and guys are cutting and moving and he has the ability to make those plays, but he's an elite passer. There's no doubt about it.
And just when you're drawing up plays now, what do you do? Put their initials or what do you do?
Yeah, I mean, that's what we use the initials now because again, there is, you know, so many guys that are positionless and, you know, because you're playing a system where truthfully all 5 guys should be able to work in all spots. It's easier to use their initials than positions.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Thank you guys.